Hey guys, welcome back to rhrjen. I'm so glad you're here. Guys, I have such a good show for you today. We're taking a look at Meghan. Still up to some stuff with her dad. It seems to be getting weirder. We're going to take a look at a new article that is just coming out and discuss what we think is going on there. If you're new here, I'm Jen. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the thumbs up, leave me comments, as all of those helps YouTube to recommend my videos, and I sincerely appreciate it. Today, I'm chestnuts roasting on an oak gin fire. I decided to get festive today. I was just feeling like, I don't know, Christmassy, holiday-y, so here I am all sparkly. Let me know what you think. All right, let's take a look at what Meghan's up to because it's always something. I feel like she is doing this back and forth now with her dad to use him to get attention for herself. Again, I know you know, but if you're the one person that doesn't know, Thomas Markle Sr., her dad, recently had, I believe it was his left leg amputated partially. I think it was just above, it was around the knee area. Awful, horrible situation for Thomas, wishing him nothing but the best. But this is just absolutely Meghan and absolutely, again, just all eyes. It's just to say it with me, look at me. Always. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If it involves Harry, the kids, anything, it's always back to her. So now, of course, dad is always back to her. Let's talk about it. So this is according to page 6. It just came out and it says Meghan Markle's team sent unnecessarily aggressive messages over journalists' hospital visit with Thomas report. All right, let's talk about that. So if you didn't know, Thomas has a good friend who writes for the Daily Mail. Her name is Caroline Graham. This is the article that they're kind of referencing, but I specifically wanted to look at this page 6 article because it talks a little bit about the aggressiveness of Meghan or Meghan's team sent toward this Caroline Graham. So Caroline Graham has claimed that Meghan Markle's team sent the journalist unnecessarily aggressive messages for being by Thomas Markle's hospital bedside. So we've kind of gotten a glimpse of this because it was mentioned earlier. Remember, Meghan, upon finding, okay, I'm trying to breathe through this. It's just my eyes are rolling out of my head over this. So upon finding out that her dad was suffering this serious medical, this illness, this what could be the end, we don't know, all this stuff going on, serious stuff, she decides to write him a letter. And like the rest of us have said, why? Why would you do that? Because it's Meghan and she has to show off her calligraphy. I mean, why not use this time to show off, right? So she's done that, but there was a back and forth and accusations of, I think, inappropriateness from her or her team about this reporter being at her dad's bedside. But I said at the time, and so many of us have said, what right is it of Meghan's to say anything like this? They've been estranged for, what was it, over 7 years. She decides that the optics are so bad, she better reach out because she didn't just do this of her own free will, meaning she's had all these years and he's had all these health problems, heart attack, stroke, things like that. But now she reaches out because I think that people are at a fever pitch of what is your problem? She uses now to reach out and has the nerve to complain at who he's got at his bedside. And according to the Daily Mail, they looked into it and said, there's nothing inappropriate here. They've been friends. Caroline and her dad have been friends for years and years. He called her to come. So she did. She got on a plane and came. But again, what right does Meghan have to any of this, or what business is it of hers who he decides to have at his bedside? He's been asking for Meghan and Meghan has been refusing. So I'm sorry, like, you don't get to say that. You just don't. But of course, Meghan's got to spin herself into the victim always and use everything as an opportunity for attention. I feel like this is no different. But the reporter has spoken out in a lengthy article published on Saturday, stating that she became good friends with Thomas after interviewing him about his rift with Meghan, who, of course, got married 2018. We know that. I feel like it's important to set the record straight. She wrote, I've only ever written stories with Tom's express permission. And he told me he wanted to give an interview to the Mail on Sunday as he sought control of the narrative around his amputation. Again, why is Meghan allowed to speak out whenever she feels like it on anything she wants to, but nobody else is allowed to? It's that continuing hypocrisy. It's the issue I always have with Harry and Meghan. What is it? Rules for me, but not for thee. No, rules for thee, but not for me. It's always that with those two. Nobody else is allowed to air any kind of complaint or grievance, but Harry and Meghan, never ceasing. It's never ending. They always do this. It's frankly disgusting and sickening, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, is to shed more light on it. Some people sometimes will leave comments like, why do you continue to talk about them? Because they can't get away with crap like this. They just can't. I think it's important to call it out. So here we are, calling it out. But yeah, so it sounds like Thomas wanted to set the record straight, as is his right. Now, believe me, I'm not burying my head in the sand. I have my own issues with the Markles in general. I've voiced that. Some of you agree, some of you disagree. That's okay. You can feel how you want to feel about it. I do think he has the right to do what he wants, just as she does. That's where I get upset with Harry and Meghan. They think that if they don't agree with you, you should be silenced. I don't believe in that. Even if I don't agree with you, there shouldn't be silencing. She has the right to say what she wants, even if I disagree with her. But then what's good for the goose is good for the gander, meaning Thomas also has the right to speak out. So if he wants to give this interview, that's up to him, regardless if you feel like he's right or wrong to do so. It's his right to speak up. So, but Meghan never sees it that way. She thinks her voice is important, but nobody else's is. And therein lies the complete hypocrisy. Remember, Harry called the First Amendment bonkers. They're just finally their words and actions meet, because they don't believe anybody else should have the right to speak up. But let's continue on with this. He's been burned a lot by people on the internet making up stories and wanted to reach out one last time to Meghan, Graham added. That is so sad to me. You know, again, I don't want to speculate. I never do on anybody's health. So it just sounds like this is this has got to be a serious medical thing. So while most of us can say, like, why in the world would you want to talk to Meghan at this point? I get it. It's his kid, regardless. And it's what could be, I don't know, his last wish or one of his final wishes. So if he wants, I get it on an intellectual level why he might want to reach out. Even if I disagree, that's his right, as is his right to speak up. But she's got to make everything difficult. Always. All right. The writer explained that the first time she met Thomas, 81, when he was living in Mexico, and can count her fingers on one hand, those that she's stayed friends with, I guess, are the people she's worked with. She described the past few weeks with Thomas's hospitalized, and his leg was amputated, as a roller coaster in his life and hers, I'm sure. Graham recalled that Thomas Sr.'s son, Thomas Markle Jr., urging her to fly to the Philippines, where they live, to be with his father. Now, I do want to point out this. I've seen rumblings of Meghan allegedly citing that it's too dangerous for her to go there. Okay, if that's the case, because they are rumblings as of now, but there have been allegations that that's one of the reasons she won't go. Oh, please, she'll never go. It's not about that. She just wants to do her loopy swoopy BS handwriting and call it a day. She doesn't want to go. But of course, she'll use that as an excuse. Never mind the fact that they went to Jamaica there had been a warning of people should not be traveling to that place at that time because of, I believe it was like gang activity, something like that. There were travel warnings against that. And same with Nigeria, and they went. So those places are fine for her, but the place at Philippines where her dad is not fine. And yet this journalist could pick up and go, no problem. And it sounds like she didn't travel with an entourage, if I understand that correctly. So I'm just not buying it. I mean, we can see right through it, honestly. But the journalist is saying, Thomas Jr. called me. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Called me back to say he'd spoken to the surgeon who said there was a massive blood clot in his father's thigh and it was life or death. Oh, that's so sad. I hate that. I really hope nothing but the best health-wise for Thomas Sr. She reflected on her past conversations with Thomas Sr. and how he allegedly had been unable to contact Meghan, which is why he initially agreed to speak with her years ago. The reporter claimed that she and Thomas Sr. had an agreement that anything he shared with her was off the record unless he stated otherwise. While in the hospital, Graham claimed she attempted to help Thomas get in contact with Meghan's PR team after the actress's spokesman alleged they'd been calling several hospitals to locate him. So many of us have been like, that's bullcrap, because it was written on his gown where he was. Her people could have found out. You're telling me they couldn't have used somebody in Harry's contact camp to find out? Bull. I mean, I said before, I'm nobody, and I was able to make contact and speak with Thomas Markle Jr. You know, like it's not rocket science. And if he's wanting to speak to Meghan and she's trying to reach out, something tells me it could have happened. I just don't believe her. I don't believe she would have reached out. Graham also claimed that the Suits alum PR team stated that they sent Thomas Sr. an email, but the writer claimed the dad of three hadn't used the email address in years. Well, plus, even if you used it every day, I got to think if you're in the hospital with a limb amputated or partially amputated, however you want to say it, and that's sick and that's, gravely ill, probably not checking your email. That's probably not your priority. Just a hunch. Again, only Meghan would think like that. Following Graham's recent stories about Thomas Sr. not hearing from Meghan, she stated the Netflix star's team was, quote, unnecessarily aggressive toward her. She directed them to speak with the paper's editors and legal team due to concerns. So if I'm understanding that correctly, that's something I talked about before, is there are reports that her people were putting out that it was inappropriate, something along those lines, for her to be at his bedside. But again, I say if he invited her, it's Thomas's decision. What is the problem? It's Meghan and Harry doing that thing where they villainize the press, except for when they want to use the press. They want to smile like lunatics for the press. And it's okay for them, but not anybody else. It's just absolutely, to quote Harry, bonkers, right? Graham shared that she has expressed to Thomas Sr. how she would walk away from their friendship if it meant he could reconcile with his daughter. Painful as it would be, we both had tears in our eyes as we discussed it again last week. It would be impossible for him to reconcile while having a friend in the media, particularly one in the British press, for which Harry has repeatedly expressed his hatred. Oh yeah, he expresses his hatred until he decides he wants to walk in the front door of the courtroom to parade in front of them to get attention. It's just never ending. But I think Meghan just, in my opinion, I'm not there, but just looks for any reason to make things more difficult and to make herself into more of a victim. I feel like that's what's happening here once again. Last week, Meghan's team confirmed that she had a letter delivered to Thomas, given that a Daily Mail reporter has remained at her father's bedside throughout, broadcasting each interaction and breaching clear ethical boundaries. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the accusations that they're lobbing at this woman who is a friend of Thomas. And I don't know this woman. I don't have any skin in this. Maybe in a different situation, I might feel it more like Meghan, but I don't in this situation because Meghan hasn't been there. She doesn't get to say who can be at her father's bedside. If she was in his life every single day, like the other, Markle kids sound like they are, then sure, maybe she could have an opinion like that. But I'm sorry, you lose the right when you estrange yourself. And let's face it, in my opinion, she seems to have estranged herself over something she does constantly, which is get in contact with the press. It's just this level of hypocrisy you cannot make up. It's so Meghan to be like this and to use this against her dad, especially at a time like this when he's clearly suffering some health stuff. So Caroline's remained at her father's bedside. Yeah, okay, I said that. It's been exceedingly difficult for that one to contact her father privately. Even in these victim messages, she has to use her titles. Absolutely insane. Insane. She thinks this is going to make her look better. I mean, it's just Meghan to have that mindset, to think something like that. It's not. It's awful what she's done. Absolutely awful. With the support of reliable and trusted contacts, her correspondence is now safely in his hands. Okay. In Graham's report, she stated that she was present when the letter was delivered, but didn't pry into the details inside. DMG Media also fiercely defended Thomas Sr. and Graham's relationship, denying she'd breached any ethical boundaries. How about that? You mean once again, Meghan is not telling the full truth on something or any truth at all? Oh my gosh. Maybe it's her truth. Remember, that's what Amber Heard likes to do. What Meghan likes to do is say their truth. There is no their truth. It's the truth or not. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's it for the article. I'm dying to know your thoughts on all this. Do you feel the same as me? You can let me know if you feel differently. I am curious, especially in regard to this Caroline reporter, but it sounds like they've been friends for years. So again, I ask, what is the problem? I mean, Meghan herself has closely worked with people like Omid, who Plastic Man, who has written books. You're saying that's not an ethical problem? Forgetting that you helped write his book and then having to admit it and apologize to court for lying about it? That's not an ethical boundary that okay. Again, it's totally fine for Meghan, just not anybody else. Ridiculous, right? Absolutely ridiculous. All right, that is going to do it for me. I really want to know your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below. And again, a huge thank you to everybody who has been so kind in the comments, who's written me such wonderful, lovely things, who have given me the thumbs up and used the hype button. I appreciate that so much. I truly do. You guys are the best. You mean the world to me. You really do. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who's checked out my Amazon storefront and who have ordered from my Amazon storefront. That means the world. It really does. I appreciate that very much. So if you missed it, I do have an Amazon storefront. A lot of you guys ask me things like my lipstick color or like a necklace or makeup stuff, and face stuff that I use. So I've got that all linked. It's not that you get charged any extra. It's just that if you decide to buy something from it and you use the link, I end up getting a couple of cents commission kickback at me. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you to everybody who has done that. All right, that's going to do it for me. I really want to know your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the festive shirt. I'm very sparkly. Let me know. And yeah, thank you again for all the lovely comments. If you want to further support the show, there's several ways to do it. Definitely check out the Amazon link. I'll put the link in the comments below. Check out my merch. Everything's fine. And Team Catherine and Not Bloody Likely and all that stuff. And check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Thank you to everybody who's joined. I really appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who supports me over there. My executive geese and ganders. I got so much bonus material, hundreds of videos over there, all kinds of stuff. I just did an unboxing where I opened up Victoria's, I almost said Victoria's Secret, Victoria Beckham's, that's something different, makeup over there. So check that out if you're interested. I really liked most of her stuff. There's one product I wasn't as crazy about, but the rest I really did like. I don't get paid to promote anything like that. I'll always tell you how I really feel. Same on the Amazon. I only pick products I actually use. I wouldn't post or try to link something that I don't. So you can find all that over there. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for being here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, how are you? I'm so festive today. I haven't been sleeping good. So you can probably hear it. My energy's a little bit lower. I'm fine. I just can't sleep right now. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to remedy this by putting on a festive top and shaking, apparently. And I did my hair and I put on, you hear them? Jingle bells earrings. I thought they were fun. Decided to get a little festive for this one. So there's that. Act surprised probably when I wear this closer to Christmas too, but I want to go ahead and start wearing it because it's just fun. Chestnuts roasting on an oak-gen fire. I'm trying to do Christmas music. In fact, if you stay tuned this long and you have a Christmas music title that you like, you can drop that in the comments below. Or if you want to put a spin on my name with it, or if you want to put a spin on your own name with it, go for it. Drop in the comments below. But again, a sincere thank you for all your lovely comments, your warm comments, your kind comments. You guys have said the most wonderful things to me, and I just want you to know how much it means. It truly does. But that's going to do it for me. I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. Have the best day. Take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.